Good morning and welcome to the Degen crew, where I'm trying to grow my Polymarket account by finding undervalued or mispriced predictions. So today we're going to jump into the price of oil. Let's get into it. So for the last week, I've been trading around what the price of oil will be by the end of the month. Specifically, I've been purchasing the nose. So here's one, for example. So I've been purchasing the 75, the 70, and the 68, and also the 60, mostly around the nose. I have traded in and out of the 80 because for a while the 80 was selling at 95 cents, and I was able to sell out at 99 cents. So I've just closed out that entire position. But my biggest position has been the 75, and I can explain why in a second. But I've also been buying the 60 and the 68. The 68 got very close, so I actually started buying the yes on this as well to close out this position because the market was not liquid enough for me just to sell all my no's. So I've been trying to get this one to a net zero or a net neutral, but I'm not quite there yet, but we'll see. I'm working on this throughout the day, but my biggest position has been the 75. And if I go into position, so my total cost has been around $2,000. It's up 5.9%. And the reason for the 75 and why I have been buying the 75 was because for a while, the 70, 72, and 80 was trading around 95 cents, but the 75 had been trading around 89 to 91. So that was the one that had the most volume, and that was the one that I was able to actually purchase, and it was undervalued compared to the other three brackets. But I think it was undervalued because people are starting to use Polymarket as insurance. So I think people are using it as insurance to hedge different things, specifically other Polymarket predictions, but also traditional markets. So specifically for the price of oil to move, right now I think it's at $66 a barrel in the futures contract, or maybe even 67 by right now. But for it to move $10 in a single week isn't outside of the norm, but it would take a major event to move it. So the only major event, there was no announcements of OPEC saying that supply was going to be cut off that would increase the price of oil. The only major announcement that could happen in a week that could move the price of oil $10 is specifically around Iran and the US right now, which is crazy to say, but that's where we are. So specifically, I think people are using Polymarket to hedge against that, or buy insurance against it, because you can also buy. People are predicting when the US will strike Iran just based on their setup. So here's what I mean. For a while, you could have purchased the February 27th for about 3 cents, and it's already up over 100%. So it's selling at 8 cents now, 8.2 cents now. The end of the month for most things, so most contracts, is the 28th. So you can see right here that I think people were just buying February 28th based on the volume. The volume here is 56 million. So that's where the volume is for that. The total volume on the market is 463 million. So that's why I think people are using this as insurance, because this is a huge market for Polymarket. This is unusually big. So that's where I think people are using this to hedge traditional markets, traditional options, traditional futures contracts. They're using this as their risk. Being able to say, okay, this might happen, so we need to hedge that position, so this is what we're buying. But how the oils contract was worded was February 27th is technically the last day. So today is the last day, but it was underpriced compared to the 28th. So I think people were buying the 28th as the end of the month, but you could have bought the 27th to actually hedge your position. So I was able to buy the oil contract for 89 cents and then add this on top for today when the prediction ends for 3.7 cents. And then I was able to collect the difference, pretty much making it, it's not entirely risk-free, but making it a lot, I was eliminating most of my risk. So just because of the way the prediction is worded, today is the last day. I was able to hedge it specifically with this. And I think other people are doing the same for traditional markets, but using larger amounts. But that being said, I do think I can close out the February 27th right now, specifically because the U.S. is saying the U.S. embassy staff in Israel who want to leave should do so immediately. I think if you're telling people that, obviously no one wants war, but I think if you're telling people that you can't strike today, I mean, obviously you could, but they shouldn't. It would be crazy to tell your people to leave and tell them to leave immediately and then strike the same day. So I think if you're telling people today, because this was published on the 27th, if you're telling people to leave today and leave immediately, it means they probably won't strike today. They'll probably strike at a later time. Again, obviously no one wants war. I'm just saying that because I can close out this position, and I'm technically saying that they won't strike today. So close out that position, and I'm also going to close out the oil position as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, the market price, I'm still getting 8.1, so I'm just going to close this out. And at the same time, I will also start closing these out. Now, some people might look at this as risky, as I've just closed out the insurance policy before I've closed out the oil position. I could have done it in reverse order. I actually should do it in the reverse order, I guess. But I'm going based on my assumption that if you're telling people to leave, and you're telling them to leave today, you are also not going to strike today. And I still think even if they did in the next 2 hours, it would take, like, oil will immediately reprice. My question, even just based on the options market and traditional options right now, we are pointing towards a $66 to $67 barrel per day close. So I was also using that in terms of which bracket I should be buying. But I will go ahead and close this. I'm going to be doing this with a limit orders. There you go. Limit order placed. I will be selling this out throughout the day. I will be watching the price of oil, but that's how to collect the spread between two predictions on, or not collect the spread. I'm collecting the difference using two predictions on Polymarket. Again, we hope there's no war. We hope they resolve this, and best of luck.